الشيشيخ ستيني لتكت يوهان واساق تواسقو يخسقهاي يقو ايخ ون لتسينا يتويتي هجنقوي هسكاو دكيد هستي لتسيني يا لنجدوي لنجد يقتنجي او شكوكو هسوي قنخوي جخونيا أتلين أدوسا أوي قنخس أو شكوك يا هاي قتنجي يا تاك يا أوي قيخ سقاين قلتشن كات نخوي ويخ إيقا شنكت يقتنجي أو شكوكو كينخ أوي قوة هنق وجود Goox daakashú ach ish hasoi kakwantan qunakhawe hastu kakhu tuchta tankia yidat wasa ach tuwuk Héen aya du inyuch ach de tanen hu awechan na kawanik yuch tangi qutuch kekwati qusti kayat atsu khwatak oi hin wan khatak oi hin wan ya kutan oe ya 10,000 قتلقة قديخ يدو ساك ويتاك كوزين خا قاكتلات دو إينا ويوق أو تلات كن Goox daakashú جو Wáatxʼ هوت هيت يدخوي هو تلق آن وش يسكو جلقات قلقوت قنخوي وش جنت الشتوي وهان يا جاكو دخ أيا جتليق يخاوتي أجايا يا يدت دو دادوي يتخت تنك يا دو إين آغ دو دجخنكيان دو يدكي دو شتيي أوي دو إين يوق أخت تاننسو خنخوي أوشكو كنو هايوق تنكي يا يدت قشق نخوي ويخ يقيقا كنايتي يا هايوق تنكي تين يوهان قاي تو Wáatxʼ كيغخ لتسين أو هايوق تنكي قيقات يا دايخ أتخقت ليخي قاو يا هايوق تنكي قاوي يا إنجلش وي جقخت ناق تلا أتينا خاوتي وان قنينز هاتو ناقو قيقا يا هايوق تنكي هستو داتو يتخو تنكي يدات يا قنخ أوشكو يا هستو إنيوخ أختتانن كوخ قختين كيخني يا قنخوي وكي هستو إنيوخ أختتانن يا جوكتين شغون شووتين آتلين قلقاو قاجاقتي قستين أتو سكشويتسو قنخوي هستو إنيوخ أختتانن وصادو ساكو سيديا قنخوي وكي دو إنيوخ أختتانن كنجيستي يا أوا يا هستسو داكا يا أتو سكشويتسو كاخوان إيش شكشاني تلهستو يخ يا يدت ويدتي شنجت هستو يخ قواتي قواهاتوتي دي أوي كاقختو آق أجخاوي كنخوي كاقختو هيج يا قختو هيج أوي هايق أتنجيتين أدادوي يتختتن هفاي قوو هخنق حسبو قوتين هستو إينا يوخ أو توتلا أتك أقايا هستو إيجي وني كميها يدو ساكوي شكون هستو إن كاخونيك جاكو يا أوا هستو كاك تلين كيكس أدي قاق أجكوك يا وي هسي يو سقا Yet keilki has. Yende night sui achai. Yende night sui achai. Akawe. Yego ayachwan. Utusakutlash hasa yawut laq. De keek aya. Haswutlets is. As du yago yikt. Atugo o akag ye has awus neen. Wasa a kawr chil shantin. Taj has uwajak. Aka jakut kag aya. Ye has wutien. Ja o hanse. Jakut kag. Klik tag nach hoa. Chanach hoa anen. Ja kudch aya na ha. Hava ik uhana. Chan has a Kayaaní. Naskadushu hit kutzati. Kudch aya na ha hiti. Jadaka hitsa. Kena hich. Yende yekwa hi tse jashuka hit yik. Ye awe. Joya has a kausha hit. Yata. Kijk naskadushu hit. Hatsk anach. Ohan so jayuka ging with his sako adad. Kalkadeen koa. Achhawe. Kutla goose nu jayaha ani kak. Kaka atina ha atea kutreana ha tenaya. Achhawe. Tlakawe to satinu chwe. At an kasakutin awe. Keka. Hasawus ku and Gooxa. Ye haswutin kakudesa haskakwa art. Ja, you did. Gushaknach o yech. Was kleinach Lidzia ya du jich. Ja, kaklige. Ja, Kanacho ya dat you tuch the tank. Dat tinach sa hayati. Klesacht hoa usko. Sakit yachyati. Ja, idee ishu kach. Ye uti. Gedena ya. Hast du itch yan tu atya yidat. Ja, hasilko has. Ja, ha itch daakashú ha itch kena wati Kellacht hoas go lidzi, kigach lidzi a yallingit, stu del tu. At away, stikka chattati ide. Gwall gan has ausene, ja achjan tu di ye awa ho ach ja hasil go hast. Uhan ko kayakachút a day has to yesawe ha itikaku. Ye awa ach tu a tia has to dadu tuch the tankia that. Gulchisha edi sa achi. Wasa ye tuuch wasa a dadi tun the tani. Ya lingit yuch at lingit chenach yuch alla atki. A itcha hasa kudat yuch agachutla. Achit kiege ach kanachwe ke hasa ik. Like a cake yet the katiach away. Atyan shich. Keshkun kuzit kusti yasan de chak. A joy hasle us klachona.
Ach eat kaha. Yeah, cook. Hakusti, away. Judson Brown. Ka. Hakusti. Klesh. Ha ani kak. Chagu yach. Chagu kwan yach. Ka Yao Ka World War II. It we Kunach Ye Janae Slinket Kwan Yes Yawakatsa Slinket Kwan can vote. Agawe Ye Khwaji Khatsa can Khatsa I can vote too. He talked in the book about how he was he realized back post World War II how much it was important to vote. Reawakened in me things we can do here to keep that metaphor going, since we're not working on the land ourselves as much as the old ones. There are other things that we can do that we should be grateful for. Hooch.
Jeez, achlir kohasoi daklawe digital kadach. Ya shaka kuni yudu saga noe kun kunachoi atlin hastu sag otin kun hit ha kun kla shakun shakakuni hasu at u owe et kek da ak ate Judy Helgeson yudu a sag de kinach sati du hitti decho kuch a kakhatseo akwa nach sawe kol du jideka kwati e khwasa kudasa khwasatin kho awets it's ahoe out the ak ya fedora uwe ya fedora's ahu ya tin kho awa ak out the ak awa ak Aka awe khasatin kleg kun awu khwasa kutsu ya awe khwa kun awu asha aya kudach sawe like khak enach split you do a sago at atachwe waita ya awe khwa lich ko has ai we kun khasatin we kun awu khwa with ahu kach a joye yakhsaka tawasugu with ahu guchsati oh yak Taanáx chidikak giti ye away chwasakú wasa do sago at llingit kashhidi ye away kakashat uwasa formline design llingit kashhidi awa achawe llingit kashhidi awa chwasakú adan chwasaguk ajawe achitch eudatan What wish to say and yegar to Sydney? Aka away do yeet jis away. Chwani gwet cleich at kach chag do jis. Ye away wish to say and ya ye dat with ach jiwu ach tu yek eada. Kun ye away. Heldu injúk áchtatanin choa. Shakakuni. Ye awe gwell du tla. Hechasaku wasa wush hakauda ya. Tiaken. Ach yeti. Hechas heldu injúk áchtatanin choa. Skate ho awe du injúk áchtatanin. Tlaus tla. Ja, has joe has ours koen choa cleat good klein. Ja, ach tla du ish. De sai aya. Bert Dennis aan kadachtzien. Klingit enach. Ho owe. Du shet owe. Kashtu lich. You do sagen. Kashtu lich du ish. Taanáx you do sagen. John Taanáx lel hak enach. Ye owe. Hasoe. We. Shakakuni. Kuntak sakshawe yadu. Well, ho owe du dark has. Ja, ach klar, du ish, du klar. De kat du yetki owe kach ustien. Gwell wyt so cool llingit chwsti. Hanach sa ti owe. Ha klar yen yn nachowe chwt sa ti. Gwell I ach o a. Jaguda ani gwell China. Kach owe has to tu a ti nuch. Ja, shawat a nachowe ya nachadutatzin. Ja, ach leich go klein choa. Just do yeet has kutz a tea, tlech to see. A joy chakuta duklawe di has chewawus. Hatu was a go. Ha yedich gachtula yechi. Be seek has a chewawus. Klech shakakuni. Du glag du seek has choa. Has chewawus aka. Klech has a yawut lak. We Diedrichsen Kuurko a Kleinach a Kehas ausse wat du seek aya. Ilchish. Hasag udadaya ukagachtulla ad gwalgiwe aidat. Gudachsawe isai. Dasa yisaku adad. Yewe chak. Yewe kautu ak. At kautu aku. Ya hasag udad ukagachtulla ad. Gudachsawe isai. Dasa yisaku adad. Yung katangi ka aya.
Hussein Trinket Inach Taanáx du tla second Chenach Chenach Sejindaha let me see here. Ach Akla Kustin Ucha.
Yek ilchish klein. Du itzaqo ha ya that.
Ach eat uaha.
Galchish.
Satuk ach sai. Ach shlich yuchat uwasa. Ach namesake tlechwasaku. Ach tlauk. Du Yachwan Tla named USA de Yadi Shkik ka Yech Yadi Hucha.
Galchish inki negi da. Ikecha. Du saax'ú that.
Ayachat.
Ah.
Yech kagu yuchat do a sock. Duck nash story dictionary city. Plate ka chenach. Dandelion ye yati. Klech wasaku we shikachnik ach saye dad. Dech shikachnik saax'ú awat a. Yech fogwoman awasha ha. Agan shach ka would ak ka guna ye yati klechwasaku. Which
Ah. Galchish. Ilqaku. Ikecha. Du sa ya that.
Ach ashkurchatsa shkunk sai Yana 8 dleid kachinach cow parsnip dasa we Yana 8 hat to usigu ach dleid kachinach Barbara Greek chatangi nach Greek ka dasa gunayakwan chenach bar blah 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 Huasaku. Dasa, I mean, to it, well, therefore, bar sai means gunayakwan, and glade ka Spain Heinach ka dasa European languages. Gooch away. Hooch away, not gooch away. Hooch away.
Goodness cheese. Ja, dat you took the ton. Ja, du Yana 8. You do a sock. It's the cut with Kayaaní. Yet a cook. You do a sock with Kicker Queen. Yana 8. Kicker Queenie. Cook. What is it in Gayata? Cook yago. you do a sock, yank. One means yak uwa ya. Actually, cook ye yaku, you do a sock, yank. Cheese.
Goodness, cheese.
Cook aya ganachti disai. Cheese. I do it sakwa ha.
Atea, one,
Cheese.
just shugnach tef. Wasa I do a sock you gonna kadate luch Ginny took. Gonna kadate we alligator. Luch Ginny took. Telchwasaka?
Echosaka.
Wasa ye ya ka. Katluk. Investigator.
Oh.
Chatea, Juantlain, you chat to a sock. Kirch Quandacha you chat. Ach liek, na yis you do sagun, ho, awe. Ach jit awati ach sayi. Kuryek, ach liek tu. Ach tuasi gu kachwanigi adat ach sayi. 1996, Took Kuryek Dog Point Fish Camp. Sheet Kade Yakun Khatin. Franklin James. Khan Kananik. Dasa you do a sock. Franklin James Edach. Yasa Yeshatan. The frost on the beach when the glacier passes over. Ijit Shayadi Héen we yit ka shatch ka kik tsu tit ada. Hooch.
Cheese.
Cheese. Echa. Ewe Juan Lane. Alligator. So uchu at kwashi.
Investigator.
Good cheese. I do it sakha kwaha ya that. Good cheese.
Jy dis het sien jy het toe saak ag sisk jy het ouer sa toe kane jy het toe teen kokatan asai ouer chagudag kwas chagudag ag sai you kwa ag ach sai sien at dat ye shootan ye khwajian ni dat ko tes khwasaku achwe anya safash khat ewa wus masa I do a salk singek ina ye disatin you khat do a salk you're a pricey one asets ini Yeyati, Yeyawaka. Taanáx, Masa I do a sock, Lingik Inach. Yedislitzin, you have do a sock. Oh, you're an expensive lady. Yechat, you had Yausika. Oh, Kaslitz Ini Shawat, Ye Eati. Good cheese.
Jeez.
Okay. Gonna cheat. Adisatsu. Ukecha. Stark.
Kakush ish. Ye hadawasa. Awake jack. Kakul ish du shatk. Du satien. Du saibutien. Glacier Bay ye hawuti. What's it do sa Glacier Bay?
Eshui.
Eshui.
Sit itiqi. Dechsai qatsati.
Anyway, Donna Kayastan has outi. Achsai gan kasichi yachiti. We gan kasichi tel do a jock. We gan kasichi at hachsiti hashagunis. Gulchish.
Ek achawe gulchish ha inkini. Tuk gatusa.
Gwrched. Chitwu yw chydwysach, Lingi enach, lagoon, yechat awasa. Ilka cheat mirlet yeshutan, ka wuch dleitiach Dak ka mirlet kusti achwe achla achina kanik we Goox hastu tletuch hastu se dleitiachiti achwe yat chitwu awe Ejitsu wachtla yechas awasa gwelf derch yagi shukwat hanak wugudi yechat yosika. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. This Tlechwasaku Wanaksawe she family name Ayanach, more of a family name. Chish 18 Achi.
Kacha. Chish.
Jeez.
Wo ka ye awach wa ach chit wo. Yelio. Kit wo. Gwall gleidiach yeti gwall gleidchach enach echwasagu da diachsa gwall yisatin klein il de cut we yel ujiachas ujiach daqati gwall yisatin cho gleidiach yeti yel wo yelio ye awa cho ach ayadu saij Yale yo. Achchawe we cheat wo gwalli setin we cheat. Tujiach yeti qatleit yacheti. Gwall we cheat qua yisetin cut at leit yacheti. Cheat wo. Ye awa yak ach dakka we Goox woo leit yacheti cheat wo. You do a sago at yuk. Tachonach yak which is shuku saax'ú qutzati. Atlein we whoosh to the Héen ya saax'ú ya waita cheat wo yan ye Dísi kadakla ye wa dakla achlil kohas ya khadqosh qaqwe qxtati ya uhan ya hunch Dísi o skinya o Dísi wutien gleich khaqinach Chauncey Jacobs gwell the cig cho Fenton Dísi o chone ya llys ach tlad du eiste toasagu ach yatasu sa willukach adi joe chuchtati ach yatasu sa chone ya chak ni chinagut ye leo au satin we yai atlein ya owe akawa ketch aka awe kinde awe we ya yisaku ade wan qanins ade hasocha ye we ya kinde aka has yade khoe hasdekhe ye kha au satin atlein ya o awe kha we ya a joe ye we do tuch wuche chish a yekte awe khat kakotaqin a chawe de kir awe with the qin we ya yate yakh qane awe kha we ya a yekt with the gate yel ak awe a ye wuti ya yekt ye we do tun de tani ye wuti ha ne shakh kwa giwe Aqawe qone awe kha atlein yao awe kha yel kat we yao a yekt kawas khai we ya yekt we kat at awe kha wanani sawe de toas gut jakut ye te awe ate awe kha ye at we shoot out the ak ya yekt qone aya awe tsik we yao Knachawe dich ewoke. We gaan at the chawe we yet ai. Kone wu shasha we yai tai. Alsatin we yai tai we yes. We that's a ke kekwak e. Kone we our ha yai tai. Alsatin su do yik adi. A yik adi kone our ha. You take the take our ha. Our jakwe yai. Yes. The touch out the cheese, the touch with the cheese show it, let's see Dana, a yikdacho, a quagudi, like out the dick. At your way connect wig. Yak eat leo de gochlahash, yak eat leo de gaslahash. A gawi yak eat leo with lahash we yai. With his a cook suck on the who. Yai art you do a sock. Gwelliau chadi o y tŵan y diedgu as hasgwylliad. Wyau has aus y tîn a chant o y haswo ad a ga has o ich a dwsgi chachanachan gachashi a dwsgi chachanachan gachashi nell has y dawdych has du taka has du ish has a Kayaaní ya atlein chuu ik has wo art has du jishaguni tin gwell konea ya has du toas a go a dati has du wane we yai klingit tell o tu a chayan we yai has du toas a go a gawe has awa acha duski chachanachan gachashi ha wasak shawe a jawe has a kawa ak we wool has a kawa chashi wushdaki has a wasnei chitle aya yel أوسطين كل أتونا خيا كقدقين كل هو أوش قاقوا جاكوت الدخو دقين هخوسكو داساك شوي كنديو دقيني يأو أوشي خني يلتكت وقو قنخوي هساولتين أقاوي ييل داد away ييتي أرتين ياي شيء ياي تاي تشت توا أشكو ودستيني أجوي قني شقوا كنديو دقين أقاوي ييل هستو ينخ ودقين كش قوشتين أجوي جس كنديو دقين وقو كي هسو كندي دقين كندي ندقين أقاوي وانني سوي قيخنا دقين وييل أنت أيدي ودقين هو أويك الدين شوتزني يا إيتليني تين كخ ود قودي أو هس أوستين ياي داتا وي هس جيوني أتلين ياي دوغو ياي دلي قني هسا كاوخاش هس تواسكو نيلتي هسا وخودي ييل خو هسا خيووس قنخ يك ياك جق تلك ها إقاوسو ها يك يا أوي خو أخو دا ساك شوي يا أخ يا يكدخ تل داسا يا يكدكي يا أخ داسا تلك يكدخ أكي دا ساك شوي كلكي يكدخ أخسي أخيه أدوسكي قاقنا قاقاشي وقو يا وتوا أخ ييل يا خو أخ تلك دهين وقو هسوت وياي أتوشهاشي ياي أيك دخوي هسو أوا أخ أدوسكي قاقنا قاقاشي أقا هسو وخا إتخا أخشوهي إيقاك إيقا أجوي ياي نقص تكتوي قو ييل تكتوي ياي أوخا ياي دوغو ياي يك أدي ياي دلي ياي كو just أخاكي أوي ويخ وش ياي قاتي دي قوخو يقخ يستين ياي خاقي أوي قدستي ويقات كخ أخساي أوي ويدادخ خني تلايت خاخ إنخ ريفن ديكوي يا أوي يا خوجي قلتيش namesake أخساي أيا فنتن جاكوبس يدو ساكن تلايت خاخ إنخ أخساي قلت أخساي just خو أخساي أخساي يدو ساكن فنتن جاكوبس تلايت خاخ إنخ
Wasa you do a sock for like first or second enach.
أخشوق أساي أيا قني أخدخ أساي قو أدو أني كودنوك يا أوش قاقوي هستو إتخدشي وي hit plane وتشلايخ شكات خو أوجي يس يا أوي أسادو أساقو أد house dedication كات خدسيوك أق أيا Johnny Marks أخدو أسا دو أني كودنوك. Yeah, so usually you say Shukwa Sai, be the first name. Dakha Sai, second name. Hadakha yati yekha kwasti. Akshat khatkhewus. Wasakach tu sa. Hadakha yati. Tlekak inach khatkhewus. Khatkhwa. Dakha. That's the way tlechak inach dacha. Second one, hukwa tlaik. Okay, I'll translate that one. Okay, so our second child was going to be born, and my wife was asking, what should we name her? Or we didn't know the gender of the child actually. What should we name them? And I said, Dacha. She should name him Dacha. She said, what's that? I said, the second one. That's how I got thrown off the naming committee. So but we had Tlingit names picked out, but
In Japan, frequently the eldest born son is called number 1, and the second born son is called number 2.
Oh, yay. Shukwa Yedi is the firstborn child. You get to be the boss. You're the boss of the littles if that's you. So, but you're also the one who gets in trouble if they mess up. So you get all the benefits and the responsibilities.
Are
And
you?
then Klaik,
No. Oh.
I'm Dacha.
Oh.
I'm the Shukwa Kiki'a. I'm the first youngest one. But then people see me just boss my brother around. They're like, you the older one? It's like, no, just bossy. Ichtla.
Ach sa'i sint Kerry Jackson yuchat USA cognate you to eat with she ach yach cogne antimini. We saw ye YTT yeftutla gwell nask at a dot take just yech ut yachati tla golle dech ya ut hin city Gulf of Alaska I was yech ut Kaneskinach shoot idiak kagwal kleik yedi kleik yagi dech yagi wegan akasgan I got away with tuch yach ichi at wegan tayi gagi shot I got away with hini kutik nacha yamdi ti gothye kayauk yik iati we uch ichi at we hin kach yiti. I got away kaye kawaha we hini. I don't know if that made sense. But Auntie Minnie said you burn a fire long time on the same place. You just keep burning a fire. And underneath it, if you burn it a long time, you get greasy black stuff. She says it's greasy and it's black. And you put it in your hands. And then she said, this was a long time ago. You go out in the water and if it's rough, you toss it on the water. And she says it, kayech, and it makes that water calm.
Jeez, echa.
Cheese.
Okay.
Chatsa. Tleika Kainach Kim Perkins ye chat to a sock. Achla chat our sa Kim ya cook Rudyard Kipling Kaidach Kim Slinget Kainach Shanakati chat to a sock. Kagwantan a chat chakna chatsati. Ach ish to eek away. Plus. Shana Kate. How did, I just wrote it down. Namesake.
Achsayi.
Shorty Williams. Played Kakinach. Shorty Williams. Yuda Sock. Think it Kainach. Shana Kate. Yuda Sock. Achsayi Tsa. Shana Kate away. Penate. Ach Saitsa. Away. Ach ish to ik. No, ach ish to ik. Away. Penate. Yedu Sagan. Penate to Huni. Played Ka Kenach. Jimmy Walton. Chat Awasa. Hoot.
Ukecha kan cheese.
How would you
Yeah.
say? Go, never mind. Go ahead.
Good.
I was just going to ask a question. Go ahead if you're going to do yours.
So Slingit Handed Ka Kejin. Slingit dictionary to walk Aga Khwashi Utsaga Kwat E Askutuk Kwagut Ka Ye Khat Kurtlisa Utsaga Utsaga Yakyati Khat Aya Klinget Klehanded Ka Kledushu Wanach Sahin Yik Ak Wechat Kwa Tu Salnik Ak Tua Segu Uch.
Cheese. Ukecha. Saka. It's gotta be a sock in there. Right? Saka would be the poker. Poke, 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 because you poke on the ground with a cane or a staff. As far as the woo, I don't know why the woo's on there, but Saka, I could see that. It makes a lot of sense. So sak would be the verb root, I think, for that one. Good cheese. Okay. Cuisine, what was your question?
I was just trying to navigate, saying, click, click du sai, du kik, so my, click guneoti, Tukanei, when I was a baby, gave me her sister's name. So I was trying to navigate all those pieces into one, you know, Guneoti, when I was a baby, trying to figure out what placement would you say, what order would you say all those things in?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a good time to make some notes. Okay, let's see. So there's different ways to do things, but what I would probably recommend, so we have a number of things here. So you'd say like, well, if I were to do something like, so you'd have Achlich, so my grandparent. And then there's these ways you can sort of walk people through to show who it is. So you could say, my example, I usually say, Ach, kla, du ish, right? And so you could just say, Ach, blank, do, and you could do those as long as you want, right? You can lose track of them at some point, but someone asked me, how are you related to Paul Wilson? I was like, oh, well, his mother was my mother's father's sister. And so, but you could do that thing. You could say, ach, kla, du ish, du kla, or wait, ach, kla, du ish, du tlak, du yi, huh. Right? And so you can walk it up and then walk it back down, right? And so, but if you keep doing do blank, it does get confusing at times. But that's how you can establish which grandparent it was. So you could say, for example, ach, kla, du ish, my mother's father. And then there's different ways you could say this. You could say, whoops, what happened? I'm up there for some reason. Okay, so you could say, puchzeti, or you could say, all right, let's do, whoops, tukanei, chat, wusati, tukanei, chatsati. Should I go with this? There. So this would be when I was a baby. And then you could say, du tuasagu yet wasai. So here you've got achlich, achla du ish, tukane chat wasti, du tuasagu achit wasai. So this would be they wanted to name me. And then it could vary as well, like, because it's quite common for families to negotiate this stuff. Like maybe your grandparent, it gets a little, when we start getting into all the, like, so, du tuasaku achit wasai, and then you could say the name, right? So you'd say the name here. So, du tuasaku achit wasai chane, right? Or whatever. And then you could say, ach, chlich. And then this is where you get that kinship relationship. Like this was, let's say it was their, if we change this to Kla or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So if this was my grandfather's uncle's name, Achlich du Sunny away, Chone, Glade, Cha, Enach, Hua, Fenton, Jacobs. So that's how, and some of these are fill in the blank type of things, right? So this could change, right? So if you were establishing this as your grandmother, achlich achla du kla awe, dokane chat wusti du tuasagu achit wusai, and then you give the name, and you say achlich du keek away, or whatever the thing is, right? So that's how you sort of, there's a lot of moving parts in here, but those are the parts that could be substituted. And you can also say, like, let's say this was your grandmother or your grandparent who was a different clan, right? So then you could say, du tuasagu achit haswusai, he wanted them to name me, right? Because these are things that happen. Sometimes a grandparent might negotiate with the clan and say, I want them to have the name of my younger, whatever. I want them to have my uncle's name. And then usually they'll make those there was always negotiations with names and relationships and clans and all that stuff. Yeah.
What is yet?
It's they put it on your face.
You
And
named
so
your
you could also say Khatbusai. But usually when they talk about giving someone a name, that's how I've usually heard it. Is you'd say Akhetasuwasa. Because they put the name on your, with the money, they put it on your face.
So I'm sorry, I missed that. Uwasa.
Yeah, so this is like this is the form when you're linking it to something else. So Jitowasagu Akhetwusai, they wanted me to be named this. But then if you wanted to say, so I could say Ku Awe Yet Uwasa Duani Kaudanuk.
Yeah, in the phrase book, they have that phrase, Yuchat Uwasa.
Yeah, and that would be they named me that. So that, yeah, you could also say Ku Awe Yechat Uwasa.
So Sa is name and what is the perfective? What's the you?
Yeah, so here you have you, and then you could have Ayasak. So typically what you're going to have is you're going to have, this is a little different because that tends to be high, right? So this is kind of, I think, a frozen form. So when it gets the W on there, which is a little bit unusual, because what you'll find is, let me open up the verb database. When you have the U and the K at the end, what you're usually getting there, let's see, is if you have a verb that's na conjugation, like we'll look up Kayaaní. That's a good example. So if we go look up neek, sorry, we're scrolling here. You zoomed way in. So here's neek. Here's a Kayaaní or Kayaaní. This is na conjugation. So if we open this verb up and we go down to the repetitive imperfective, because it's na conjugation, we should expect U in the front and the K at the end. And so here you get U akanik. They regularly tell about it. Right? And so that's where the U is coming from in U do a sock. It seems to be related to that. Like another one is if we go down to ton for speaking or communicating, I guess is what I'd say. And so we're looking for yu qayatunk, which we're going to find. These are all squished in here. Here. So qanidatan. Oh wait, that's the da. Never mind. Yun. I guess it is. Getting yu qayatunk. And that's where yu qatangi comes from.
I'm I led you the wrong way. I was wondering about the U that's in Uwasak.
Oh.
So UWAS.
In which part? Like so you could say
Yechat Uwasak.
So
Mhm.
I'm wondering what that U is. UWA.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
So that goes zero object, perfective, yeah, classifier. Oops, there's. Hold on. Cut is the object. So you get y, zero subject, yeah, and saw. So for this one, like for example, we'll see way day, wugut, and nesh, wugut. So what we see here for the zero group classifier is in some cases, you're going to get kind of two options. So for zero conjugation verbs, you're going to get uwa. And then for na and ga and qa conjugation, you're going to get woo. This will only be the case if, because you would say ye awasa if that's a third person, but then you would say ye khat wasa because it's zero conjugation. So a zero conjugation verb in the perfective without a third person sub or object, you end up with uwa. Just like here where you say wait de wu good, because that's na conjugation. We'd say neich uwa gut because that's zero conjugation. So the zero conjugation perfective, there's two prefixes that have these two different options, and they're wu and uwa. And then there's, anybody know what the second one is? Where there's these two, the zero, or there's the zero option, and then there's the na, ga option.
Ooh.
It's not oo, it's ye and iya. So for example, you slept, ye ta. You ate it, iyacha. So this one is na conjugation. This one is zero conjugation. Oh, yeah, okay. Chishkach ansan. So coming back to perfectives, the one time the prefix does change is when you have a zero conjugation and you have second person subject. Because this would also be, if I wanted to say, you named me this, I'd say, Yechat Iyasa. You did it, right? Yechat Uasa. Yechat Iyasa. That's where you get that Uwa and Iya. Those are the variations to show a zero conjugation verb. It's just kind of an unusual thing. It's a good question. Okay.
So do you find that in the online verb dictionary? USA?
That's a good question.
I couldn't find it.
You probably don't, because you'd have to change the object, because if it's probably it shows you a third person object when you go to sa.
The phrase itself is in the Lingi Kayaaní, page 25.
Yeah, so you have ye awa sa, because that's once you put a third person on there, that voids that uwa option, because now you've got to add the on there, and you can't do that. But if you change this to, they named us yeha uwa sa, yechat uwa sa, yeyi uwa sa. So if that becomes anything other than a third person object, it would switch it back. It would switch it to uwa. Maybe in the sentences, but I don't know. No, there's no sentences for that.
So really that word uasa, that's deep dive stuff.
A little bit, yeah. It comes into this, Dick Dauenhauer used to call it the telic verbs, so these verbs that show some sort of goal. But really what happens is if it's a zero conjugation and there's no, and for those motion verbs, there's no object on there. So that's why they switch to uwa for the zeros, right? So you've got uwa, and achyet uwa sa, right? Because now this is an indirect object, right? It's like they named my face. Like, I don't know why people say it like that too. It's interesting.
I have a hard
Go ahead, Cassie.
I have a hard time when you say when it's a motion verb, when I guess these ones don't very motion verb, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and these aren't motion verbs, right? And so, but when we
Yeah.
talk about motion verbs, we say they can switch conjugation types. So it can be na. It's usually na or zero. Sometimes it's ga, sometimes it's ka. But those are the most common ones.
Is achyet short, or is short form of achyet chat?
It's to my face.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean, that doesn't mean chat.
No. It means,
Yeah.
it literally means they named my face. But that's, I think that's how, I want you to name them. But it's just, and you could say, there's two ways to say naming someone. Like you can go with an object. You could say, they named me that. Or you could say, duyet uwasa. It doesn't change the meaning. It's just two different ways to say the same thing.
Sheesh.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Kaushahit kushe.
Dasa.
The two ways to say
Oh,
name.
they're right here. Achet uwasa and yechat uwasa.
Goodness, cheese.
And this one would work the same way. So you'd say, by the same way, I mean this, you'd say yechat uwasa chone, and you'd say chone yuchat uwasa. So what changes and why between those two?
The verb, different place.
Yes. So if the name comes immediately before this verb, then you'll have you. But if the name comes after, or if anything separates it, it'll switch to ye. Same thing. So if you're introducing yourself, say chane yuchat duasak. But you would say yechat duasak. Chane. That's the you and the ye.
So this is kukte.
I used to always wonder about it. I used to think it was sort of a regional thing. Like people from this place say you, people from that place say yay. But it just comes down to whether or not the name comes immediately before the verb.
Kane, does that carry over to Udayaka?
Uh-huh. Yeah, but I think only for like old school speakers.
Okay.
So then, yeah, you'd say, for example, Guk de, and you should say you yawaka, and then you could say aka awe ye yawaka Guk de. So same thing. If the quote comes immediately before, you should be saying you, and if it's separated or comes after, you should be saying yay. But same thing. Different book, especially I think you'll see.
I remember years ago, your Sakjaye always said yay, but I don't remember now if I don't remember the whole phrase, but I noticed that everybody else was saying you hut, and she was saying yay hut. So
Yeah,
I
'cause
thought it was regional.
I started hearing that too, and then I learned the rule, and the rule is, it's pretty straightforward, which is just if the name comes right before the verb, then you say you. Anything separates it, then you say yay. But I think it was one of those. There's a few of these really fine-tuned things that we talk about, like, and then we have conversations. We being like people who are studying Tlingit and teaching it, where we're saying, okay, is this going to be a really big deal if we lose this thing? And I think one of the big deals we talked about last week, and on Wednesday, I'm going to share some stuff with you. We had a meeting to talk about how to write certain things, but like if you say yak hot ye di, and you would say this a little different. Okay, now we got a new way to spell this. Hold on. This is our proposed new way of spelling this. If you're from Teslin, is putting this little eyebrow on this Y.
Yeah.
So a really important thing here for us is this sound right here, right? I would bet you if you just really listened, 9 out of 10 people who are saying this phrase today would say it like this. Yakehat yi ati, right? That should be yakehat yi ati. You should hear that little yi. There's a little waver in there. If you're from Tessin or Carcross, you can say yakehat ying ati, and you got it. You got that NG sound right there. But for this is one we got to make sure we hold on to this so that you're getting this yi. There's got to be that little thing, or else we're not going to be able to tell the difference between. I need a. Okay, here you caught it. Y'all caught it. You should be able to hear the difference between these two, right? Ye shot, right? You gotta catch that little thing when you're saying it and when you're hearing it. And so I'll share some other stuff that we talked about. We had this, I guess we'll call it a Tlingit corpus meeting, where we got to decide some finer things. And I'll show you all the findings. But we had votes. It was interesting to talk about. And one of the things we talked about was this right here, and making sure, because as a language, you have certain things. You're like, okay, it's trending this way. We got to decide whether or not to pull it back the other way, right? For example, young people take control of a language. That's a good thing, usually. It means they're speaking it and they're using it. But what do you think people were using this phrase for?
Suye Kwasatin.
Yeah, aware. And that's when I said, could you say the verb, please? Could you just, don't chop the verb. They'd be like, suye, and then they just take off. I'm like, okay, that's one, I might try to pull this one back, right? And so, because you have again, and then just a mysterious preverb, and then we drop the whole verb, right? Because the yay is there because it's, that's a qa conjugation verb. So that means you have to have yay in the future. But if you just say tsuye, you're not saying anything. But these are conversations we've got to have as a language community. It's like, what do we need to shift, and what are we okay with shifting, right? And like this sound used to be in all of Tlingit probably, and now it's only left in a couple of different places. But we had to sort of talk about how to write it, because we were writing it like this. But now what we're writing this for, that's a Y that might become a W. Could easily become a W. But this is saying this is that nasalized Y sound. So more to come on that.
And you need to change chert too.
Yes, I've already talked to the chert people. It's coming. There's a chert release coming. They're going to add the Shit'ei. So this is Shawaki Y. It's a Y with eyes. And this is Shit'ei Y, which I think, did you name this?
Uh-huh.
So this
Yeah.
is the
So
It-
that's not the same as the little wavy one? My goodness.
yeah. And so but we're getting into some of it is getting into the weeds, but we also need to figure this stuff out because there are communities that have that, and there are communities that have this as well. So we are introducing 2 new letters to the Tlingit alphabet. And this is one where it sounds a lot like an M, but it's not really an M. And so we're trying to make sure that we're able to accurately record these sounds because we certainly hear them. And the most complicated one is a voiced L, which can be, we end up with 2 options for that, which is this and this.
Did the group talk about the I, the short I, like whether it's a I or a E in some words?
I think we decided to leave it as is, but if people want to write it long, they can. But that's specifically talking about a suffix ending, right? Like, so if you say, I think the tendency is to write it short and then to say it short or long. But if you're trying to write down somebody's speech and you're trying to be accurate, you might write it long if you're hearing it long. But yeah, we did talk about that. So more to come on that on Wednesday.
Well, I'm a proponent of definitely keeping the ng sound because I feel like that's more authentic. And so I wish that we kept, so I really support that. But I also feel like when we're not just sounds wise, but we talk a lot about introducing ourselves, but we really spend little time introducing each other. And I feel like we need to spend more time introducing each other because we never introduced ourselves before, you know?
Oh, sounds like we've got an activity for next Monday. What an excellent volunteer. What an excellent opportunity to take the lead.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that on Wednesday, and what we'll do is we'll try to pair up, and then we'll introduce each other next Monday. That sounds like a great plan. It's a good thing, really good thing to practice. Okay, gonna cheese, folks.
Cheese.
Morgan, could I ask just 2 questions once everybody gets off?
Cheers.
Bye.